packed fans inside. They are ready for their first show of the weekend. Pace truck is off its race number 14. We are racing at Pocono Raceway. Lane Riggs, Caden Honeycutt lead the field down into turn 1.
Here we go. Start swinging out here and there. We're only going to go 3 wide this time. That's not too bad.
Caden Honeycutt with the advantage. Lane Riggs up high. He loses a couple spots.
Lane Riggs chose the outside, got a nice break, but Caden did a good job. But look at the draft coming. You talked about it, Kevin, and there it goes. 3 wide.
There's Lane. Excuse me, I'm coming back for that spot. I was supposed to have 3 wide. Corey Heim out in front.
And that's where it becomes a lot trickier to decide what to do. The hole that is being poked in the air by those big calves and straight noses on the front of these trucks.
What about that big move by Lane Riggs around the outside? He was so fast up there, got that spot back from Kohosevar.
And we feel like Lane Riggs and Corey Heim had the best trucks in practice. Obviously, everybody's going to make their vehicles better, but right now, you have to go with the fact that the trucks that are 1-2, you see Corey Heim checked out. Lane Riggs had a little bit of a tough start and had to make up a couple spots, and you see the distance that cost him.
Passing's always been hard, but the more good trucks you got, the harder it is to make your way through the field. But Chandler certainly got a competitive truck. Look for maybe a little adjustment on the pit stop, pick up a couple of spots on the restart, and get going.
2 of our 3 former winners in the field. Chandler Smith won here back in 22, and the guy's trying to get around Brandon Jones. His one and only Truck Series win came here back in 2020. Let's get an update on the 99. Ben Rhodes will hold off on that just a moment as the 7 of Carson Hocevar makes his way down pit road.
This isn't surprising at all. He doesn't need any stage points. He's just going to get in, get out, try to get some better track position.
Well, and here comes the leader, Corey Heim, for his first stop of the day.
Had about a 3-second lead when he pitted. See how this all shakes out. Who decides to stay out and grab those stage points?
Yeah, you see Lane Riggs is still on the racetrack.
Todd.
Yeah, Jamie, Corey Heim come in. Scott Zipadelli, crew chief, decided to flip the stage because the truck is just so good. Corey wants just a little adjustment, a little bit too free. Scott's going to take some air out of the right rear and fix that. So another good day for Corey Heim so far.
I think Lane Riggs, not having been to victory lane yet this year, decided he needed that stage point.
I think you're 100% right there. He needs the stage point. He needs the stage points in general.
The 2, that would be Cody Dennison.
That's hard
Trouble
contact.
on the track, yes. Debris on the track. That'll bring out our first caution of the day. The final lap of stage number 1.
There's all the looks of a blown right front tire with that much damage. We'll have to find a replay. There it goes.
Oof.
Lost a right front tire, whether he hit debris or had a fender rub or what. Big contact for Cody.
Well, that puts a couple of these trucks in a really...
Trevor, he's got the speed to get it, so it's just a matter of time, I think.
All right, so Stuart Friesen stayed out, got the lead, so he'll restart here on the outside. Corey Heim on the inside. Corey has been lights out once again today. Nose to nose. Carson Hocevar pushing Stuart Friesen on the outside as they head into turn 1.
Stuart Friesen is a big Carson Hocevar fan right now as they fan out 3 wide. Got to be careful down there on that bottom.
Yeah, we know that 81 truck down there is on used tires. Stuart Friesen on used tires. He won up the racetrack right there.
It's Tony Breidinger.
Trevor told us that resin, the old resin, is starting to rubber up and start to make that second groove more useful in turns 1 and turn 3. But we know Corey Heim, he's had the best truck, and Hocevar knows that right now. He needs to stay close enough to get that draft off the back of that 11 truck. We saw those times match at the end of that last run, so we think Hocevar has the hold-on speed to stay with Heim.
So Hocevar moves around Friesen, moves into second. He's got to keep Corey in his sights. Corey had checked out in stage 1 by 2 seconds.
Patrick Emmerlin in the 07, he was in the top 10 at the start. And what about Rhodes? He's gotten around Chandler Smith. He's making some great moves. This is a battle for the, that makes me so nervous. Thought he lost it.
Chandler Smith to the inside. of Ben Rhodes. Ben up 18 positions. That's the most on the day. And by the way, he's got a new crew chief. Guys, it's that time of year for Thor Sport. Time to mix up the old crew chiefs.
Yeah, that's 4 years in a row that he's had a new crew chief at this race. So
what about this?
Battle up front for the lead. Carson Hocevar is just here for the wins.
On trying to break that draft.
If you can get a break and get away from Carson Hocevar, you really want to try to take advantage of that, and that's what you saw there with Heim zigzagging down the front straightaway. But Carson, nice exit of 3. He's right with him again.
Remember, this is kind of a duplicate of what we saw last race 2 weeks ago at Michigan. It was these two going back and forth.
And Chandler Smith right in front of him on the same straightaway have flipped the stage and will be able to stay on that lead lap with their strategy. So they're going to be on a little different strategy, but they're probably going to have decent track position as they start this stage.
Green and white checker flag is in the air. Corey Heim picks up his 12th stage win of 2025. Hocevar second, Lane Riggs third, Jake Garcia and Tanner Gray your top 5. And Corey Heim just broke a record, his 12th stage win of the season. That is the most ever in the Truck Series.
Here at Pocono a year ago, he won both stages and the race.
Pace truck is off. Raja Karuth stayed out from 15th. He leads him on the outside of the 71 truck. Corey Heim on the inside as they duck out behind him, trying to fan out into turn 1.
And they are doing just that. Look at that. Wow. Can they funnel in there and make it happen? Kevin, you talked to the Open about that. Getting through turn 1 is one thing, but the next one's even more difficult to control. Nice move there on Stuart Friesen.
Chandler Smith moves into the 12th spot.
Yeah, and his whole pit strategy didn't really work out as good as they thought it was going to work out with the track position gain. So he and Stuart Friesen kind of didn't really gain anything by their strategy of short pitting the last stage. And then Chandler came back in and actually changed 2 left side tires, but didn't gain any ground.
So trying to help him with some security.
What about that shove by Ty Majeski on Tanner Gray?
Oh, they're wrecking.
Caution is out. Around goes Grant Enfinger.
Big wreck.
Tyler Ankrum up in smoke. That's a Nice truck. Looks like the 44 Connor Jones up against the wall.
Tyler Ankrum with a lot of damage is going to be able to drive away.
The second incident that brought out the caution today. Oh, the 26, Dawson Sutton.
Doing such a nice job.
Clinton Green.
I saw that out of the top of the screen right there, and you saw the first. It looked like they went in there 3 wide.
And I talked about the angle.
Yeah.
When you go in on the bottom, it's just a tight corner. Your truck is going to go up the hill, and you're going to hit somebody when you go in that low. We saw one truck all the way off the racetrack down the back.
And not only is it a tight corner, but when you get to the middle of that corner, is those 2 massive bumps that really set those trucks off if your angle is bad on entry.
Grant had just got the free pass and was back on the lead lap after his problems.
Almost 4 wide. And then he winds up, like you say, Mike, he just winds up with a bad angle right there. Gets clipped in the right rear quarter panel up the racetrack into Ankrum, and then around goes the 9 truck, and then several more pile in right here as they're trying to miss the spinning trucks of the 9 and the 18 there.
Wow, nice job by a couple of guys squeezing through there.
Ben Rhodes had some contact, but like you said, Michael, heads up.
Look at this angle. That's what it's all about right there. And he squeezes Ben Rhodes up a bit, and I think that starts this mess. Grant into Ben and Ben into Tyler in that 18 truck.
Yeah, and you see the 44 into the back of the 26 right there.
Look at that Gio squeezing through the bottom. Frankie Muniz nicely done. It's going to get serious, Jane.
Corey Heim warming up those tires. Shows the outside. Lane Riggs on the inside. Carson Hocevar just behind Corey Heim. We're back under green.
When you see both of those trucks in the second row get a great restart and attach to the bumper of the trucks in front of them. See those yeah, you see those trucks moving around as they're tandem.
Little contact. Jake Garcia Gets him in the back of Honeycutt, slides up the racetrack. They keep him straight. There's contact back deeper, and around goes Jake Garcia. I thought he had it saved.
Oh, man, this is the end of this run.
Oh, Michael, you just were giving him such credit how well he's running.
And I was also giving you the information that it was going to be a wild restart,
Yes,
and that's
you did.
exactly how it went down. You just know when it gets late in the race, push comes to shove, and there just isn't any give. It's all take.
And you said it right before we had this restart. It can change just like that. And that fast, we go from Jake Garcia having a chance to run up front and get a great finish to done for the day.
He was above the bubble. He was kind of sitting right there, and now this is going to hurt him in the points. Here for the 4th time at Pocono Raceway. 24 laps to go. This is the incident. Jake Garcia around. His day is done. Get a new tire, and that opens things up.
And that should make Riggs the control truck right here. I'm sure that they're having a discussion about who the control truck is, but
well, it's Carson Hocevar who leads them. Green flag back out. Lane Riggs on the inside. Tanner Gray needs a great finish. There he is in the 15 truck in 3rd. Connor Mozak, he's been there all day, taking a peek. They mixed it up with strategy earlier to fuel. They didn't know if it would work, but there they are again. That's how good this truck has been.
Lane Riggs clears his way into 2nd. A little bit calmer restart.
Restart is under review, and Kevin, to your point, we weren't sure who the control truck was going to be at that point when Corey Heim had to bow out.
Well, Carson Hocevar left like it was him.
Right.
yeah, and that's what I was saying. When it switched like that, the 34 truck became the control truck, and yeah, there you go. 7 is getting a restart violation right there, because when the leader of the race fell back, that makes the 34 truck the control truck because he was the 2nd place truck. And right there, Carson just didn't understand the rules and now has been black flagged. And Lane Riggs will be your leader.
We're the favorites to win. Both having problems here.
I mean, clear as day, he knew or thought he knew that he was the control truck.
And that's when the driver, the spotter, and the crew chief have to know the rules. And the rule is, when the leader goes off the racetrack, it switches.
Prowess on a road course. I mean, he's really had to learn and adapt to ovals, and he did that through the ARCA Menard series. He's done some Xfinity, running full-time this year, and just really a nice job today.
There's our man Chandler Smith that's heating up the back of Mozak.
Yeah, and I was like you, Michael. I really thought as we got into the race that he would continuously make himself forward like he's done all year in all the other races. But this has just not been the day where they've been able to have the performance like Lane Riggs, his teammate, up in front of the pack.
It's been a crazy day for the next cat we're going to look at. Stuart Friesen. He's been on and off of strategy, on and off of pit road. Had a little bit of everything go in different directions for him today, coming off that huge win at Michigan.
And man, that takes so much pressure off of him and the race team as you see him at work inside the truck, flipping his fan switches or whatever he's got up on the dash right there, and trying to get everything that he can, probably an alternator switch.
Now to turn 3.
There it is.
White flag is in the air. Final lap for Lane Riggs. Some lap trucks just up ahead. Keep doing what you're doing. You turn the fastest lap of the day. That's what that little clock is. He gets that extra point. Guys, we've had 2 straight winners, first-time winners of the season, the last 2 races. He's trying to make it 3 straight. They're just picking up these spots and locking him down in the playoffs. Lane Riggs told us, last year my race at Pocono was one I want to forget. It was a nightmare day. But today at Pocono, the 23-year-old from North Carolina wants to see that checkered flag. Makes his way there. Lane Riggs, this will be a day he will never forget. He picks up his first win of the season and locks himself into the playoffs. Well done.
This is definitely a great moment for Ford to be back in victory lane.
Such a great turnout. You can hear all the fans. Take a look at this playoff leaderboard we showed you earlier. Now we've added one more driver highlighted. That's 3 straight races in a row. We've had a first-time winner on the season. Guys, there's only 3 spots remaining to make the playoffs, and we've got 4 races to go.
Well, you've got 4 races to go, and you have 2 road courses and 2 short tracks. So that bubble could quickly become only 2 spots. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens as we go through the last 4 weeks.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.